Greetings, geeks and geekeros. It is me. I am back. Hopefully this time more on time with my review of Rise. I mean, it's still not going to be that on time because of old man Mac, but hopefully it's sooner than it usually is. Sorry, computer in the background is kind of a little distracting. Anyway, so this episode was interesting. A lot of crap happened. I'm going to recap it all, so if you hadn't seen it, I really suggest you go watch it, come back, let me know what you think in the comments below. So let's get into this. How are we going to get into this? I guess like before, go in family by family. So let's go with Lou's family first. Lou's not doing so well. Principal comes in, tells him that sales are at an all-time low, and they just put out the poster. So he's hopeful. But later as the episode goes along, the principal comes in and tells him, I've made a new change this year. Sales from this year's play will influence the budget for next year's play. And so all of this is getting to Lou. He tries to jump the gun some and try to do a full run through with the whole gang. And it doesn't go over well. Props are being lost. People are hitting each other in dance routines. Clothes are being ripped. Mics aren't working. Everything you think could go wrong does go wrong. Including some stuff with Robbie, which I'll get into later. But so Lou just like is at a tipping point. Then he finds out some news about Gordy. That even though they've enrolled Gordy in a rehab center, he's not doing too well. Like, he's going through the actions, but he's not like... He's going through the motions, but he's not like physically invested, and he's not physically there. I mean, like, emotionally there. Sorry. So Lou's fed up about that and the play, and then stuff with Robbie boils over. So Lou just breaks down and he's like, fine, screw it, I'm out of here, I'm leaving. And Tracy's like, no, Robbie left, but we still have 20-something kids left downstairs. We need to practice with them. He's like, no, I quit. Well, for the day. Not quit permanently. And so apparently Stacy's like, well, screw you, I'm going to do my job. And so she gets down there and starts doing things with the kids, and they're pulling off one of the numbers, and it's perfect. Like, it's really good. And so he comes in and sees this and literally starts crying, which is weird that we've ended 2 episodes now with someone crying while watching a play, but I get why. I get like why the individual cases that happen, but anywho. Then we go to Lou's wife and Macius, who have their own subplot in this thing where Macius finds out that, well, we find out the reason why Macius is in foster care in the first place is his mom was raising him, and she clearly had some drug problems, maybe some criminal problems. Well, yeah, she did, because I think she's out of jail or out of the facility, and he can move in with her soon. Hopefully. That's what the social worker tells him. Well, right around this time, when you got the call about the social worker, it kind of distracted him for a minute, and he kind of broke Wozniak, I think that's their name, their dryer. So he's feeling guilty about that and all, so he tries to get up in the middle of the night to fix the dryer. Lou's wife, who I'm blanking on her name now, she goes downstairs, thinks there's an intruder, and she says, "It's okay, but we don't lie in this house." And then he gives her like a smart ass remark. And you think, oh, that's a fight, but they'll get over it. Well, next time we see Macius, he's packing up, and she's like, "What the hell?" He's like, "You told me this wasn't a lying house. I've been kicked out for less." And you're like, oh, poor dude. And she hugs him and says, "No, it's fine, he's family." She'll get mad at him, but that doesn't mean that she wants him to leave. Which, that was like, plus he's kind of lying about his mom, so that's kind of more of a thing. This was very much emotional punch this episode. And just because I touched on it, I will go to Robbie, who had a small but poignant story with this. And that's we see that he's still on the bench. Maybe bonds a little with Gordy, but that's not the point of his story this episode. Point of his story is that he's feeling dejected because he isn't playing anymore. Then there's one scene that he's not really getting the whole of, which is graveyard scene in the play. And Lou keeps trying to get at him to act better. And Robbie's clearly being a little cold towards him, even when Lou tries to talk to him after class, like actual history. English class. And then we find out why. It's because he's really questioning himself right now. Because he's starting to think that maybe he was just a good actor with being in love scenes with Lilette because he actually likes her. And that maybe he's not a thespian after all. And he's really being insecure about his abilities. And then on top of that, that has hooked into some other things that if I'm no good at this, then why did I basically quit football for it, when football I was actually good at? And basically you get the typical whole insecurities like that Roland others, and is very realistic and has happened with me, I will openly admit. But it was a small but poignant story, a subplot with him. I guess Oh yeah, since I mentioned Gordy, I forgot to go back and say his subplot of the episode, which I went into mostly with Lou's, but the other thing with him is Gwen. Apparently, when he's antsy and jonesing, she stabilizes him and she calms him. And she catches him looking at her, and so she, like, what's going on? And he tells her. And then later, that comes back up. But that's more of a Gwen story, so since I'm already talking about that, going to Gwen's subplot, which of this episode is her being more rebellious, but then realizing that she's being kind of cold. Like, she goes to her dad and she says that she wants her mom to now pick her up and drop her off at school from now on. He's visibly really hurt, but he says, okay, I'll be there if you need me. She says, okay. And later, they're hanging out at a pizza joint. She's feeling bad about what she says, so she's like, pepperoni is his favorite. I'll give him a slice. I'll go to his hotel room and give him a slice as like a peace offering. But right as she's doing that, Lilette's mom leaves his room because of their subplot about the episode. And so you're like, oh, shit. So after Lou has this freak out, she pierces her own nose and then says screw it and wants to go hooky for practice. But she goes in with Gordy and addresses him about the fact that he said that she calms him and they kind of get together, but like not just kiss, which given this show and their whole unique way that they're handling drama versus drama club versus football, thinking they may, like, honestly, I didn't think about this. My friend, Mr. J of Mr. J's Review, said it. And in my mind, I was like, oh shit. So, there's a chance she might get pregnant. And that would really put even a bigger rift between the drama club and the football team. And knowing Lou and whatever his name is, the coach, they'll probably blame each other. So that's what that was going on. And since I was already talking about it, I'll touch on it now. Coach's subplot is just basically reconnecting with Lilette's mom, which is terrible because Lilette's mom accidentally stays in his hotel room overnight, and then is like, I'm sorry, she brings Lilette's favorite breakfast to her, like her favorite fast food breakfast. And Lilette just sees it as her mom being really nice, and so you're like, oh. You feel bad for Lilette, who really didn't do too much this episode, but that's because a lot of other shit happened. Like, I'm not even done with the subplots. Like, there were at least two more that I want to get into. One is with Simon, where his scene partner finds out about Simon and Annabelle, and the rumor is that even though they didn't actually, like, make contact down below. I don't think. Rumor is that they actually did. And so the scene partner goes in and addresses Simon, and he's like, is this true? And Simon basically, because, he's got the insecurities himself about being in the closet and coming to terms with it. He's like, yeah. So the scene partner says, well then from now on I don't want you to touch me. And why? You know why. Which was cool. But then also, while this is going on, Annabelle, who seems like she's maybe starting to catch on a little, but is still in the dark, poor girl, says that I think it's grandparents will be out for the weekend so they can borrow their place, or parents. I don't really remember, but anyway, so she's like, you want to pick up where you left off, basically? And he says yes, because he's still trying to stay in the closet. And they go to actually do it, and they're naked. They're clearly naked, even though, thank Bob, we don't see anything. Because, teens. And then he stops and says, I'm sorry, I cannot do this. It's not you. But still, probably his, awakening, insecure awakening thing is clashing probably with her insecurities. So, even though he's kind of crying himself, trying to figure out what the hell's going on, why can't I not do this, coming to terms with the fact that he is gay, she's like, well, great, there's another boy who doesn't like me or something, I don't know. And so she's crying, but she tells him to leave and get out, which is reasonable. Feel bad for kind of both of them, but mostly her. And that's not even the last subplot I want to get into real quick, because I've been going on for too long, was probably my favorite of the episode. And that's actually between two characters that we really don't get to see too much. And that's Sasha and Michael. Sasha being the girl who we found out last episode, I think it was last episode, that she's pregnant. And Michael being the guy who recently transitioned to being a guy. And we find out that they were best friends before he transitioned. And that he kind of pushed her away somewhat. And she has heard about that. But then he finds out that she's pregnant. And he wants to make sure that she's happy and that wants to be there for her, but goes back kind of the wrong way. But even though I know he probably shouldn't have pushed that guy against the wall, I did think it was kind of cool to see that, for people to see that he actually could. But still, it was kind of a jerk move. But they end up reconnecting at the end. And hopefully that will work to being a better friendship in the future, because I'm actually now rooting for them. And I really like this subplot, because this subplot was very, I think, realistic and addressed something that I don't think we see too much in transgender related stories, and that's like how they treat their friends while they're transitioning and all of that. And the girl's not, Sasha's not mad about the actual transitioning. She's mad about him pushing her away when he was doing that, which is very realistic and mature, and I really liked it. And I think that's it. This video might go on for maybe a little too long. Sorry about that. A lot of crap happened in this episode, but I really liked it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like this video, maybe think about liking it. If you like this face, or this channel, I guess, maybe think about subscribing. Right now I do Supergirl, Rise, Krypton, and I did the premiere episode of season 2 of Westworld, and I will try to continue that because that seemed to do pretty decent on my channel. If anyone saw that, thank you. But no promises, because